to join the stream on the socials. Okay, just had to remove a kick account. All right, we're live. What's up, everyone? Oh, wow. There's a bunch of people piling into the stream right now. Went from 10 people to 60 people in like just a few seconds. Big earnings, Nvidia. I'm also going to go over PANW, another big stock. Sailor Brown in the Discord was saying how inflated the contracts were. Yeah, I was trading SPY earlier today, and I mean, just even the 1 DTEs, that the strikes at the money were like $500. Usually they're only like a few hundred. So definitely lots of, you know, VIX is also up still high again. What's VIX at today? Yeah, still at 23.5. So I got Nvidia on the left, PANW on the right. Almost 200 people in the stream now. What's up, everybody? Swinging Bull here. Options coach for PB Alerts. Got a little over 100 people in my coaching group now. All right, so for those that don't know, NVIDIA is supposed to report at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. Their forecast EPS $1.18, forecast revenue $54.59 billion. Look at their anchored VWAP on this annual chart here. They're trading right on it. They closed the regular session right above it today. PANW reports at 4:05. We'll get them first. Porterhouse on X, good to see you, brother. Forecast EPS bullish or bearish on Nvidia, said John Joe on YouTube. I'm not going to even guess. It's a 50-50. You know, if you're trading through earnings, you know, buying a call or buying a put, it's a coin toss. Those are lotto trades, hero or zero. You got to be, you know, not financial advice, but money you're willing to part with if they go to zero, because you know, trading through earnings, you're basically gambling. Now, there's ways to trade through earnings and not gambling. I mean, if you already have a position in a company, it's a long-term hold, of course you're going to trade those through earnings. There's ways to protect yourself. Ronnie on YouTube says bullish. Yeah, John Joe, I'm not even going to try and guess, because this is a 50-50 shot, and all the news lately from the analysts, which, you know, take with a grain of salt, but just, you know, the past news been dropping about how tech is so overpriced and inflated and valuations are too high. You know, that's the bearish case, right? That everything's just overvalued for tech, but I'm not even going to try and guess the direction of Nvidia. I actually was taking profit on some of my positions, you know, this week, Monday, Tuesday, and a little bit today, because Nvidia is going to move the market. All right, what's it weighted, like 8% in the S&P, heavily weighted. Pramod on X asks, when is the crash? I mean, we got a little bit of time to kill here, but you know, go to SPY. Look at the daily chart. We're still trading below my EMAs. I trade off the 9 and the 21. 9 and the 21. We're basically acting as support ever since we got out of that April correction. But you know, SPY is still not out of the woods. I mean, I know today's candle, it looks like it's going to end up printing green, but we're still down here below the EMA. So this is like, you know, you need to start thinking about managing risk on your positions when you know, price action is looking like we might start downtrending. I mean, I was saying this the other day, but below 650 on SPY, we're definitely going to be in correction territory if that happens. So far, it's managed to stay above that between yesterday's candle and today's candle is a little bit better than yesterday. It's 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Let me go back. So I think PANW is going to report any moment now. Go 1 minute chart. Go 1 minute chart on Nvidia as well. Got a little bit of time before Nvidia reports. Okay. I'm showing 4:20 p.m. Eastern. John Joe says, "You thinking bullish? It's going to have to blow expectations out the water." Yeah, I mean, it really has to be like fantastical earnings. I think for them to get a bullish move. If they just, come in line, even beat by a little bit, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Penny Boy Trades. Yeah, also in the first line in the description, if you want to get 4 high probability stock setups delivered to your inbox every morning at 9 a.m., click that first link in the description there. Doesn't cost anything. You get them for free. We've had a lot of good feedback on that. Yeah, Tammy on Discord says, yeah, they have to beat by a lot. And who knows? Maybe they do, We're going to find out here shortly. It's 4:06 p.m. Data I got is the report at 4:20. Earnings Whisper says PANW reports at 4:05, but it's 4:06 and there's nothing going on. Well, I guess there's a little bit going on right now. I mean, not really. Close the regular session this is PANW. Close the regular session just below 200, $199.94. And sitting here at 201 and a penny, up 0.5% around there. I'm not sure if PANW's data's out because you'd think there'd be a much bigger move than what's happening now. Let me go look on the side here. Yeah, I don't think PANW's out yet, so we're going to have to wait a little bit on that. I think that was a typo on Earnings Whispers. Let's see some typos with the times on Earnings Whispers. It's not always accurate, so take that with a grain of salt. Got some predictions on PANW. If they get a bullish reaction, target 222. Could it be 220? Could it be 224? Always makes me laugh when people put these price targets out with like to the penny. They're like, yeah, my price target is 222.13. It's like, what? Like, you get your bigger time frame levels shouldn't be to the penny, I don't think. If anything, maybe like a little range, like a 50-cent range. I would just call that low 220s. All right, PANW is getting a reaction. Basically is sitting right a little bit below where it closed the regular session. It's kind of frozen at the moment. Don, did you put a bet on Poly Market? No, it's funny you asked that. Webull has some pretty interesting bets you can do now on the service is called CalSheet, I believe. CalSheet. Let me know in the comments if anyone's checked that out. But you can like do bet on sports, and it's basically trading. What they're called is event contracts. That's what they're calling it. So each event contract's worth $1, and then you got like a spread of the odds. It's very interesting. It's, one of our other coaches has been dabbling in it and making some money. So pretty cool. A little added feature that Webull put on there. But no, Don, I did not put a bet on Poly Market. If I did, it'd just be like a scratch off ticket, We just don't know with their earnings because we've seen time and time again this year, a company will beat earnings. They'll beat EPS, they'll beat revenue, even show a little growth from the same time last year. Look at PANW. Look at this candle. Holy wow. Let's see if this holds. It's up 5%, folks. It's up $12 a share. Holy cow. Let's see if that ends up being the right move. So PANW looks like they reported at 410, not 405. Yeah, Don, I agree. I already know quite a few people dabbling in it, like the prediction market. I think it's going to be a bigger deal in 2026. Look at PANW with the reverse Uno. Holy cow. That initial move looks like it wasn't the real move, but now look at it coming back up. So lots of volatility with PANW right now. Let me see if I can get their data because it's obviously out. Nvidia should be in about 10 minutes. To my understanding, they report at 420. So we got 10 more minutes. The doctor in Discord says he messed with it, made some pretty easy cash. Yeah, the Kalshi service that Webull's providing now, the $1 event contracts. So interesting. Okay, PANW wicked up, was up 5%, then came down to 194 and some change. Now it's coming up back up to where it closed the regular session. So a little indecision going on. Don on X, no. Nvidia has not reported yet. I got Nvidia on the left right here. They're still kind of just hanging out, waiting on the data. The Chag on Discord posted a nice graphic for us. Thank you, Mad Maverick, for putting the earnings results as well. Let me go over here real quick. So indecision on PANW right now. Initial positive reaction, then came down, then came back up, and now it's kind of red in after hours, but we'll see. Nvidia, a little bit of buying going on Nvidia. I don't think their data's out yet. But let me show this graphic that the Chag on Discord was nice enough to share with us. So PANW on the right here. So forecast EPS on PANW 0.89. And then they reported 0.93, so they beat that. Revenue, they just barely beat revenue. That basically came in line. Year-over-year numbers, good, green. Quarter-over-quarter numbers, red, just by a little bit. But let's see if they adjusted guidance downwards or something, because it's selling off right now. Invest and look at, okay, so these two are kind of doing the opposite things. Nvidia, there's some buying going on Nvidia. I wonder if the data leaked a little bit. But to my understanding, they report at 420, so a little bit of buying coming in on Nvidia right now. I want to find out why PANW is selling off here. Look for some red flags, if you will. Wolf Financial posted some good info. Okay, so revenue and profitability. So they beat revenue just a little bit. A slight beat as cybersecurity demand remains resilient. Positive net income of $334 million. This is PANW. Still waiting on Nvidia. I don't think their data's out yet. 4:13 p.m. Eastern right now. Almost 2,000 people tuning in on socials right now. Welcome, everybody. We'll pull up some time frames, some bigger time frames, and see if we can get some levels on Nvidia. But PANW is selling off. Yeah, everyone's waiting patiently for Nvidia. All eyes on Nvidia. Even my buddy Shai Balor on X is streaming right now. Okay. Now, Nvidia's adjusted EPS last quarter was $1.05. The Q3 estimate is $1.24. So they did raise expectations from last quarter. Yeah, all eyes on Nvidia. Still waiting. Interesting to see a little bit of buying going on before the data's out. We look again at PANW and see if I can find any red flags, because this is obviously selling off right now. I mean, the quarter-over-quarter numbers were red. Let's see here. But they did beat forecast for EPS and revenue. There's something more to the story here. And PANW did let's see here, the Q2 revenue guidance 2.57 billion, 2.59 billion, implying 14 to 15% year-over-year growth. Fiscal year revenue for the guidance 10.5 billion, 10.54 billion, guiding 14% growth for the year. So Palo Alto, continues to post steady double-digit growth as platform consolidation and AI-driven security spending support top-line momentum. Margins remain stable, and guidance points to a consistent demand backdrop heading into 2026. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but we're selling off here right now. I'm just looking for some red flags for everybody. Find out why this is selling off a little bit. Adjusted free cash flow margin in the range of 38 to 39%. All right, let me see if I can find something. Okay, PANW, negative EPS growth. Okay, that's the red flag I was looking for, and there might be some other things as well. Everyone's just hitting on the bad quarter-over-quarter numbers. Still waiting on NVIDIA. My info says 4:20 p.m., so in about 4 more minutes, NVIDIA's data will drop. And we'll be here live to see it. The quarter-over-quarter numbers for EPS growth is down 40%. So that's kind of a red flag there. So it's basically they had solid year-over-year growth, but there was a slight quarter-over-quarter slowdown. So maybe on a shorter-term looking view, that's what PANW is having issues with. Is the quarter-over-quarter growth was very negative, 40% down compared to last quarter, and that's the EPS growth rate. Okay, so that's the red flag that I'm seeing so far. Let me see if I can get anything else. Okay, it's 4:17 p.m. There is some selling coming in on the video right now, but again, I don't think the data's out yet, so this might be pre-earnings jitters. PANW's just made a new after-hours low. Okay, NVIDIA's data might be out. Let me double check for everybody. Wow, almost 3,000 people tuning in now. I think this is just pre-earnings volatility with NVIDIA because it's 4:18 p.m. I think it's going to drop right at 4:20. Everybody's waiting patiently. PANW is taking a hit right now, which was due to the quarter-over-quarter EPS growth rate down 40%. Pretty sure that's why PANW is taking a little hit right now. If I find anything else, I will let you know. I got some commentary from PANW's upper management. I'm trying to see if they're pointing out anything negative. It looks like they're just kind of sugarcoating everything and only talking about positive things. So the CEO of PANW, got a few more minutes before NVIDIA. I'll switch right to that as soon as the price reaction comes in. But for PANW, the CEO says, our strong start to the fiscal year was marked by excellent results across all metrics and significant platformization wins, said Nikesh Arora, chairman and CEO of Palo Alto. Goes on to say, our robust innovation engine paired with the strategic acquisitions of CyberArk and Chronosphere positions us as the data and security partner of choice in the AI era. So they're talking about all these positive things, and they're totally avoiding talking about the horrible quarter-over-quarter EPS growth that they just posted. And, you know, maybe if it's just the EPS growth quarter-over-quarter that's kind of hit them bad in a bad way. You know, that's quarter-over-quarter, not year-over-year. Year-over-year numbers were green. Okay, here we go, NVIDIA. On my left side here, NVIDIA bulls. Just give it a second and make sure that this is the real move. This is what everyone's been waiting on this week. Almost 3,000 people tuning in now. Live viewers, welcome everybody. You watching this? My buddy Don on X, you watching this? It's finally, looks like it finally dropped. And it was right at 4:20 p.m., so I was right. Or Earnings Whispers was right. I'll look more into PANW, but for those just joining the stream and didn't hear me before, they got crushed on EPS growth quarter over quarter, was down 40%. I think that's a big part of why they're selling off. I'll look for more red flags on PANW after we get through this action on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is catching a little bid right now. Let's see if it holds. It's up 3.5%. This will push the S&P, folks. Let me see what SPY's doing in after hours. Let me go back intraday here. Yeah, SPY's flying in after hours. QQQ should be flying too. Yep. Look at this. SPY and Trip Qs going up. NVIDIA up 4%. Closed the regular session at $186.52. Sitting at $194, just below $195, up over $8 a share. Still going. Holy cow. This is great. If this holds up, it's really going to help, prop the market up. And more specifically, looking at the daily chart on SPY, can't really see it too good right now because you don't see a post-market candle here on the daily chart, but I'd love for SPY to get back above these EMAs and we can finish the year with the end of year rally. QQQ still doing really well. Wow, up almost 3/4 of a point. Trip Qs. Back to NVIDIA, they just breached 195. They're trading at 195 right now, so they're up about $8 a share. All right, let me get the EPS revenue and all that good stuff. I know my buddy Shy on X probably posted a nice breakdown for us. Double beat for NVIDIA, by the way. So let me post this on the bottom of my screen. And I will also post this in the Discord. So double beat on NVIDIA. Oh, thank you, the chat. The Shy always gives a solid breakdown of the NVIDIA or of the earnings results in general. So let me go back here. There's the double beat for NVIDIA. And let me check a few more things. Okay, here we go. They increased Q4 guidance. NVIDIA did. That's amazing. So the estimate for, let me just talk about EPS, sales revenue and EPS first. And then, of course, there's some line items for data center sales and gross margins. But let's just go line by line. There's over 3,000 people tuning in live to the stream right now. And then, of course, we got a nice little group in the Discord. Love my Discord people. Anyway, so let's talk about sales revenue. They reported $57 billion for sales revenue. This is for NVIDIA. The estimate was $55 billion. So they beat sales revenue by $2 billion. Amazing. EPS, the estimate for that for NVIDIA was $1.26. They just reported $1.30. Solid double beat by NVIDIA. And let's go to the next line item. Data center sales, which is a big line item for them. Data center sales, the estimate was $48.6 billion. They just reported $51.2 billion. Solid beat on data center sales. They're pulling back a little bit right now. Could just be healthy price action. I wonder how far it's retraced. Let me check it out here. Go from here to, actually, go the other way with it. Right here to, I'll just use the bottom of that candle where it rallied. Okay, would like it to hold 190. I don't want to see this retrace all the way back up. It's dealing with the golden ratio right now. For my math people, you know what I'm talking about. 0.618 retrace on the fib, solid level to keep your eye on. And anytime you measure a pump, we get lots of bounces on this golden fib. That's exactly where it just bounced just now. Let's see if it can stay above there. It's about 190 a share. So as far as post-market price action on Nvidia, I'd be watching 190 to hold. That's exactly where it literally just bounced just now right here. Love a solid golden fib bounce and then go make a run towards a new post-market high, perhaps. If 190 fails, next level down's around 188, 189, around there. And then we have the level from where this candle rallied. So would love for 190 to hold. If 190 holds, it could print a higher low, and that would be very good for a potential run towards a new after hours high. So let's keep our eye on 190 and see if that holds. It's a red candle coming out right now. Again, if 190 don't hold, be looking around 188. And then, of course, 186 and some change is where that candle popped in the first place. PANW is starting to bottom a little bit. It's got like 186.50 around there. That could be the possible bottom for PANW, but we'll see if some more green candles print or not. Okay, Nvidia came back down to that 190 level again and printed a bottom wick. So again, that 190, and that's my support level number one as far as after hours price action goes. If this can hold and this prints a solid higher low right here from back here, that's going to be a good setup for a potential run towards after hours high. So let's see if 190 holds. Maybe a few more candle prints we should know. So anyways, where did I leave off on? Yeah, we were talking about the data center sales. Solid beat on that. Gross margin, the estimate for that was 74%. They reported 74%. That came in line. The initial positive reaction on Nvidia, I think mainly was due to the they increased Q4 guidance. The estimate for that was 62 billion, and they increased it to 65 billion. So they increased Q4 guidance by $3 billion. I think that's what had a lot to do with this initial rally. Now it's pulling back a little bit. It could be healthy price action. We always get a little bit of a pullback after a nice pump, which is healthy. It's a little bit of profit taking, what have you. It would be really ideal if 190 holds as a higher low, and if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and say congrats to the Nvidia bulls. But right now, we need this higher low to print. If it doesn't, then we got some levels to deal with. 190, I'm going to say 188-ish. I'll probably, yeah, I mean, they're kind of like $1 to $2 levels. So like 190, probably more like 189, and then closer to 187 there. So I know it's only $1 levels, but these fib levels do line up pretty accurately most times. So Nvidia's results are out, and I'm actually going to post this data here instead of what I have posted. This looks like it might be a little cleaner. Right there. Yeah, that's a little cleaner. All right, it's looking like I don't know. We'll see if this higher low prints at 190. I want to find some more stuff, some more info here. So top line performance by Nvidia. It is a solid beat. Hyperscaler and enterprise AI demand remains relentless. Gross margin extremely strong, reflecting premium Blackwell, Hopper, Mixon type supply. I'm getting this data from Wolf Financial, by the way. Profitability, net income of 31.91 billion. One of the largest quarterly profits ever reported by a U.S. company. Can you believe that? Let me repeat that. Positive net income, of course, 31.91 billion, one of the largest quarterly profits ever reported by a U.S. company. That's amazing. What else do we got here? Outlook for Q4 revenue. We already went over that a little bit. Signals accelerating demand into year end as AI infrastructure build out continues. So yeah, I mean, them increasing the Q4 guidance, that's going to be a nice little push into 2026, isn't it? So it's looking good. I am bullish on NVIDIA right now, as far as finishing up the remainder of Q4 and going into 2026. NVIDIA is looking good. They increased that guidance for Q4. Going to be a strong entry into 2026. And let's see what else we got here. Some more highlights. A little bit of context, again, from Wolf Financial. That's our partner company. NVIDIA's blowout quarter shows no cooling in the AI CapEx cycle, with record margins, record profits, and Q4 guidance pointing even higher. NVIDIA continues to dominate the global compute build-out, and the pace is still accelerating. Solid results by NVIDIA. I mean, I think it's safe to say congrats to the NVIDIA bulls. And look, it's looking like it's turning it. This 190 level is turning into a higher low. It's starting to print green candles. I think it may come up here to test after hours high, perhaps. Amazing. So NVIDIA's got great earnings, everyone. I'm not seeing any red flags yet. Most people on socials are basically posting the same stuff I already went over. Here's a nice little graphic from the earnings correspondent that kind of breaks everything down from a bird's eye view as far as EPS, revenue, and the year over year and quarter over quarter numbers. I got NVIDIA's chart on the left here. But yeah, double beat, year over year numbers, monster growth on year over year. EPS and revenue up 60% and 62% respectively. Quarter over quarter numbers, double digit growth there. EPS and revenue up 24% to 22% quarter over quarter. So just a green across the board as far as EPS revenue forecasts go, and then beating those year over year and quarter over quarter. Solid double digit growth for both those. Wow. Yeah, I'm bullish on NVIDIA going into tomorrow. I think we probably get continuation here. Let's go daily chart real quick on NVIDIA. So kind of levels. Okay, and so let me get rid of this fib here so we can see what's going on. Also, let me put on the volume profile. We'll take a little look-see. I'll come back to PANW in a moment. It looks like they are trying to bottom out. Matter of fact, let me just throw a fib on this. I'm not going to count this big upper wick because that was not the real move. I'm just going to go from this here to, actually, let me draw a bottom to top. Right there to right there. All right. So it does look like PANW is bottoming out a little bit, coming up to this 25% retrace, which is right around 189 and some change per share. But back to NVIDIA, let's look at some bigger time frame levels. I don't know if you can see this blue line right here. Might not be able to see it on the stream, but that's the post-market price action. TradingView is kind enough to give us that on the daily chart. Unlike Webull, unless there's a setting that was added, you don't really see the post-market price action on the daily chart on Webull. So that's why I always have NVIDIA pulled up, because I can see it there. So let me just zoom out a little bit. We'll get price action from, let's look at price action. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of volume has come in up here, but I mean, it's trading at 193 and some change. So it does have a positive reaction, up just under $7 a share, about 3.7% green in after hours right now. Let's just make it easy. I mean, $200, solid mental level. That's probably going to be resistance for me. That was top of the daily candle on Monday, November 10th. So not this past Monday, but from last week. It's right around $200 a share. It just couldn't break that last Monday, and then it sold off 20 points. So a nice break at 200. Nvidia is going to all-time highs, folks. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's it right there. So all-time high on the daily chart for Nvidia, $212.19 according to TradingView. So easy resistance levels or profit-taking levels or areas of interest on the bigger time frame. I'm going to call it 200 for R1 and all-time high for R2, 212.19. If there's a solid move above 200, I think it'd probably be like a magnet to all-time high. There's just a little gap on the daily chart here. Doesn't look like it was ever filled. I'll cross-check that with Webull, but there's a gap here to 205. Starts around 204 to 205. A little tiny gap. I don't know if y'all can see that space in between these daily prints here. So yeah, easy levels on Nvidia for the upside. It's getting a positive reaction. It's up 3.6% in after hours. Little under $7 a share. R1 200, probably 3 resistance levels because of now I just saw this gap. I'm gonna say 200, 205, and then third resistance is going to be the all-time high level. Usually when it breaks an all-time high, it usually pulls back a little bit like it did back here. So, so keep those levels in mind. 200, 205, and then all-time high right around 212. That's my resistance levels on the bigger time frames. But solid positive reaction by Nvidia. Look at this. Look at that beautiful bounce off the EMA right here. Someone asked me earlier, what EMAs do I use? I use the 9 and the 21. Really good for crossover trades. You can see the beautiful bounce Nvidia just had on the 9 EMA right here. And it looked like it made a solid attempt to come up to after hours high. Pulling back a little bit. Let's see if it rides this blue EMA just right on up to all-time high. Looking like that's what it's doing. We could use this 21 EMA as support if you want. It's right around 191, a little bit below 192. So smaller time frame support levels. I mean, you can see where the volume's coming in on this volume profile. I mean, basically kind of where it's at now, a little bit below. Support level number 1 on the smaller time frames, right around, I was say 193 a share. Support level number 2, put that right around 192. So let's see if this blue EMA, let's see if it just rides that up to after hours high. I mean, it made a solid attempt just a few minutes ago. These are 1-minute candles, I know. Let me measure this move again. Let me see. Yeah, this is good here. Probably just put it right there. Look where all these candles were bouncing back here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 candles bounced here, right around 191. It's probably going to be resistance there, or I'm sorry, support. We'll see if these EMAs end up lining up with the fib levels, but we got our, remember we were talking about 190 printing a higher low. It totally did that, didn't it? So that was ideal for the bulls. That was a nice higher low print right there at 190. The next higher low, I'm going to put it right at this fib here, 192. We'll see if that prints a higher low, and then this thing's probably going to make a new after hours high probably. But anyways, solid results by Nvidia. Very, very solid results by Nvidia. Let's find out when their earnings web call is. That's a good question. And I'll be able to get that info for everybody. And I'll get the link for everyone as well. Might save you some time. Tammy on Discord. Yeah, everything's up. Google headed back to 300. SPY and triple Q cranking. We'll go back here, intraday on SPY. Yep. SPY and triple Q looking good. Kind of mirroring the price on NVIDIA, if you will. I knew this would affect the markets. I mean, we were saying earlier, I mean, NVIDIA is pretty heavily weighted in the S&P, so definitely figured there'd be some reaction here on the indexes. Of course, these are the ETFs that follow the indexes, but nonetheless, we'll go back to NVIDIA. All right, we're going to get our higher low, our second higher low at 192. See if it makes another leg up here. It looks like the bottom on PANW is probably in right around 186.50, right around there. You can see on the right side of my screen here. It looks like the bottom's probably in, and there is some buying coming in. So, you know, it was down like almost 5%. Investors are looking at PANW right now as that this is at a discount from where it closed the regular session. So there is some buying going on. Looks like a bottom's formed right around like mid 186 area. Okay, looking at NVIDIA to see if it forms a higher low around 192. If that happens, it's going to come up to after hours high for a test, I would think. A little bit of buying coming in right now. Oh yeah, let me find out when NVIDIA's earnings web call is. I'm just going to go straight to their investor relations page for everybody. Okay, I'll put it on the right here. So if you want to see the quarterly results, it's right here on their homepage. I'll post this link for everybody. If you want to take a deeper dive. Okay, Jimmy on YouTube says 5 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Here, I'll give you a little shout out right there. My buddy Jimmy May on YouTube. So 5 p.m. Eastern, excellent. Okay, so that's when the earnings web call is. And again, if you want to take a deeper dive, just come here to the press release. You can probably just click right there. And I'll go ahead and click on it and just see if there's any commentary from the CEO. We already went over revenue, and the data center revenue was a big one. Data center revenue is up 25% from Q2 and up 66% from a year ago. So data center revenue is banking for them. And you know, the cherry on top here is they reported record revenue for the third quarter. So they broke a record. Okay, here's some commentary from the CEO. Blackwell sales are off the charts and cloud GPUs are sold out. Wow. Compute demand keeps accelerating and compounding across training and inference, each growing exponentially. We've entered the virtuous cycle of AI. Look at NVIDIA coming up to after hours high. There's buying going on. Look, higher lows. That's what we were talking about. That's what you want to see, folks. If the stock starts pulling back, we want to start seeing these higher lows print. That's solid price action right there. So anyways, the commentary from Jensen, the founder and CEO of NVIDIA. Let's see here. The AI ecosystem is scaling fast with more new foundation model makers, more AI startups across more industries. And you're going to see that. AI is going to be in everything before you know it. So more AI startups across more industries and in more countries. AI is going everywhere. That's what I just said. That's what the CEO said. That's funny. AI is going everywhere, doing everything all at once. So again, this is like another AI push going on right now. As far as price action goes, during the first 9 months of fiscal 20, during the first 9 months, NVIDIA returned $37 billion to shareholders in the form of shares repurchased and cash dividends. As of the end of the third quarter, the company had $62.2 billion remaining under its share repurchase authorization. So they got a big chunk left to repurchase. That's also going to help the stock price of Nvidia. Nvidia will pay its next quarterly cash dividend of 0.01 per share. I mean, okay, I guess they just pay 0.01 just to say they're paying a cash dividend. So that's paid on December 26th. I wonder if that's even a typo. Is it really 1 cent per share? That's like nothing. But I guess it's something. It's more than nothing, and it gives them the reason or the backing to say they pay a cash dividend, I guess. But yeah, this is all on their investor relations page. Let me put that link back on the bottom of my screen. If you want anyone watching, got over 3,200 people tuning in now. So anyone watching, if you want to take a deeper dive, just go to that link I just posted. You screenshot that and click on the press release, and you'll see everything I'm looking at right now. We kind of went over most of this, but let's just go over the highlights. Wow, it's already 4:46 p.m. Jimmy May, thank you, brother. Appreciate you posting that for me for the link for the earnings call at 5 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's just go over some of these highlights real quick. We kind of probably went over most of this already, but it's a long list of highlights, so I might not go over everything. But this is data center highlights. So third quarter revenue was record 51.2 billion, up 25% from the previous quarter and 66% from a year ago. That growth on the data center revenue is astronomical, up 66% from a year ago. That is insane in a very positive way. And this is more highlights from data center. The data center, that's the big deal with NVIDIA right now, just data center revenue and stuff like that. But the data center, more highlights, revealed that NVIDIA Blackwell achieved the highest performance and best overall efficiency in the semi-analysis inference max benchmarks while delivering 10x throughput per megawatt compared with the previous generation. Okay. Also, data center highlight. They announced a strategic partnership with OpenAI to deploy at least 10 gigawatts of NVIDIA systems for OpenAI's next generation AI infrastructure. They partnered with industry leaders, including Google Cloud, Microsoft, Oracle, and xAI, to build America's AI infrastructure with hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA GPUs. They also announced, look at these higher lows just continuing. I love this type of price action. This is great. We'll see if it keeps doing that. It's going up to all-time after hours high, excuse me. And again, the all-time high for NVIDIA, so what was around 212 and some change. Let me go back to these highlights because this is very interesting. Okay, so they partnered with industry leaders, including Google Cloud, Microsoft, Oracle, xAI, to build America's AI infrastructure with hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA GPUs. Got milk on YouTube. NVIDIA bigger than Enron. That is hilarious. All right, let's see here. NVIDIA announced a collaboration with Intel, which is why Intel was finally able to get out of the $20 range that have been stuck in forever. That deal with NVIDIA is what launched them into the $30 range, for those that didn't know that. So they announced a collaboration with Intel to jointly develop multiple generations of custom data center and PC products with NVIDIA NVLink. These are all earnings highlights, okay, regarding the data center. They revealed plans to accelerate 7 new supercomputers, including with Oracle, to build the U.S. Department of Energy's largest AI supercomputer. Talk about a government contract with the U.S. Department of Energy. and it's called Solstice. Featuring 100,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, plus another system, Equinox, featuring 10,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs. This is just amazing for them. They celebrated the first NVIDIA Blackwell wafer produced on U.S. soil. That's TSMC's Arizona facility, representing revitalization of U.S. manufacturing as Blackwell reached volume production. I mean, there's just so many highlights to go over for the data center, all very, very positive. Believe it or not, NVIDIA partnered with Nokia. Everyone remembers Nokia? To add NVIDIA-powered AI RAN products to Nokia's industry-leading RAN portfolio, enabling communication service providers to launch AI-native 5G advanced and 6G networks on NVIDIA platforms. Also, just a reminder, NVIDIA's earnings call with the upper management starts in 10 minutes. And again, that's the link on the bottom of my screen. And I'm not going to personally stream it, so when that starts, I'll probably cut the stream, and that way everyone can get to the NVIDIA earnings web call with the upper management. It starts in 9 minutes. Let me just get through a few more highlights here. I mean, there's some highlights with gaming and AI PC. Third quarter gaming revenue was $4.3 billion. That is down 1% from previous quarter, but it's up 30% from a year ago. So strong year-over-year growth on the gaming revenue. The data center revenue is the big deal for NVIDIA. And these other ones are kind of smaller, but nonetheless, still generating tons of revenue from these smaller divisions, if you will. So gaming, AI PC, professional visualization, that was they got $760 million on that. Automotive and robotics revenue was $592 million. That was up 32% year over year. So they're just continuing to crush these year over year numbers with fantastic growth left and right. Everywhere I look, it's double-digit growth from a year ago. There's probably still a ton of upside with NVIDIA. I know a lot of analysts are saying it's overvalued and all this, but I mean, we've already seen what AI can do for these companies, and I think there's still a lot of growth left. Okay, let me. NVIDIA also partnered with Uber. For those that didn't know that, they partnered with Uber to scale the world's largest level 4 ready mobility network starting in 2027, targeting 100,000 vehicles. Let me move this price in NVIDIA. It's getting blocked by the volume profile there. But look at these sweet higher lows. That is just beautiful price action. I love that. So we were right. It printed that higher low at 190. Then it printed the second higher low right around 192. And now we're up here a little bit less than 194. So it seems to be printing higher lows roughly around every $2. We'll see if that pattern kind of holds up, but it's definitely trending up right now. So that's great. Let me go back here and just make sure I didn't miss anything, and make sure I got the price on the right here so everyone can see that. So we talked about automotive and robotics, CFO commentary, and yes, just like my buddy on YouTube said, my buddy Jimmy, the earnings web call is at 5 p.m. Eastern, so that is 100% confirmed. So good stuff. And yeah, and if you see the breakdown, you see the line items from NVIDIA for operating expenses and net income. Especially long-term investors love looking at this kind of stuff. So you can get a copy of this by going to that link on the bottom of my screen. Okay. And let me just maximize this real quick, because we're going to go to, let me see here. Let me just go back to their homepage real quick. Actually, let me do this. Let me move this out the way just for a second. So, very, very impressive earnings for NVIDIA. Very happy about it. Of course, I am a bull at heart. You know, I do a lot of my main trading is writing contracts, and I love swing trading contracts, letting theta decay work for me. But I run a ton of the wheel strategy, and obviously we need to be neutral to bullish for the wheel to work out. So I'm definitely loving this price action. Let me just check SPY and trip Qs again. Yeah, they're also looking fantastic. Markets are looking good going into tomorrow. I'm loving this. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go. All right, let me go back here because I want to just look at one thing real quick. Let me see. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got this. Let me just show everyone just real quick. It's almost 5 o'clock here. So when you get to the link on the bottom of my screen, I left the link there so in case anyone wants to screenshot that, and then you can type that into your address bar. But what we're going to do, as soon as you get to that link, you just scroll down to where it says quarterly results. Or you can right up at the top where it says, hopefully everyone can see my screen, it says events and presentations. You click on that, and then boom, right here. Okay, 2 p.m. Pacific time, which of course is 5 p.m. Eastern. And then you just right here, this hyperlink, listen to webcast. Click on that. They might ask you to fill out a little form with your name and email. That's okay. You're not going to get spammed. They're just keeping track of how many people are attending the earnings call. Might even be an option to get their newsletter or something like that. But no worries. So very easy to get to their webcast. Just want to make sure I showed this to everyone. You know, hopefully save everyone some time from going to try and dig this information up yourself. All right. So let me go back to the sticks. And yeah, Nvidia just printed another higher low just below 194. So yeah, it's almost like a $2 per share higher low pattern going on right now. There are investors adding to their position right now. There could be some new investors piling into the trade right now. They increased Q4 guidance. They got a really good momentum going into 2026 now, I think. I'm definitely bullish on Nvidia going into next year, even with the overinflated valuations that all these analysts are talking about. There is still so much more upside to go with anything related to AI right now. And it's going to be a very interesting year next year. Now, there is a flip side to AI that I think everyone should keep in mind. Because, AI is going to end up taking over a lot of jobs. What's that going to do? Well, the flip side to that coin is now we're going to have labor market issues. And we all know the markets run off of labor market data. It's actually very important. So that's kind of the flip side that, yeah, AI is great. Can do all this stuff. There's lots of upside with AI. But now we're going to be facing a possible labor market serious problem. So we're just going to have to wait for that to possibly start affecting the market. But you're going to see over the next few years, these bigger companies are going to continue laying people off because they're just going to get AI to do it. And then they don't even, they don't have to pay a payroll to AI outside of the cost of the AI initial cost, right? So just keep that in mind, folks, that yes, AI is going to take over a lot of jobs. It's going to make these companies more financially healthier. But then on the other side of that coin, we're going to have serious labor market issues from people getting laid off. So, you got to kind of think about that. There's always a opposite effect to things. All right. So looks like we got our reactions. It's a congratulations to the Nvidia bulls. It's just about 5 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. But if you enjoyed the content, definitely subscribe and follow. You can follow me on X. I post a lot of content on X. My handle is swingingbull_1. And don't forget, if you want 4 high probability trade setups sent to your inbox every morning for free, click that top link in the description. I'm not here to sell you anything. Those trade setups, we've gotten great feedback on them. But yeah, my name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I'm going to sign off and go watch this earnings web call. I'm not going to stream it. We've already been here for about an hour. But yeah, if you're looking for a new home, check out our Discord. You can sign up for free and see how you like it. And if you just want to jump right in head first and join my coaching group, I am the options coach. I specialize in writing contracts. I do a lot of spreads, credit spreads, debit spreads. I do condors every now and then, sometimes inverse iron condors. But I write a lot of contracts, sell a lot of cash secured puts, write a lot of covered calls. I basically target weekly, biweekly, or monthly income throughout the year. And my goal is to beat the S&P annual average return by 3x or more, which I've been able to do for the past several years now. So, but yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone has a fantastic night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the next video. Cheers.